right, good morning and welcome again, everyone. So we have our first talk of the day. It's actually our day one keynote. It's my honor to introduce Samel Cohen from Meta. They're one of our sponsors. He is a security engineer and he runs the bug bounty program at Meta, and he's going to tell us all about it. So please give Sam a big hand of applause.
Thank you, Trip. All right, so today I'm gonna talk about Meta Bug Bounty Program, and the idea behind this talk is to show, first of all, how Meta Bug Bounty Program is awesome and how it's actually one of the most accessible bug bounty program out there, I think, and how we have worked hard and everything we did to make this bug bounty program so accessible as it is. All right, so first of all, let me introduce myself, Samel Cohen. I work at Meta since 5 years now. I joined in 2020, at the beginning of COVID. I've always worked in the bug bounty team, and yeah, five years so far. So the talk, I'm gonna first discuss about some general intro about the Meta Bug Bounty Program, then discuss how does it work in terms of rewards, money, and all these kind of things. Then talk about what we are doing for the researcher community and how we are trying to grow the community and make the experience of the researcher as good as possible. And then the lowering the bar part, which is more about how we make research easy, and finally some examples and some clear things that we do to make research reach all the different parts of the scope. So some introduction first about bug bounty programs in general. We can have the sort of first bug bounty program in history long time ago when some companies were making locks and offering bounties for people who are able to pick the locks. You have one famous example, which is the Brahma lock in the 1700s. But more recently, then the first real bug bounty program is the Netscape program in 1995, and then the White Hat Facebook Bug Bounty Program, which is now called Meta Bug Bounty Program. As you know, Facebook, the company, got renamed in Meta, but White Hat Bug Bounty Program was created in 2011. This is quite a funny picture. Back in the days, at the beginning of the program, we were rewarding researchers with a credit card, and the money of the bugs, like the rewards for the reports, was money on that credit card. We stopped doing that because it wasn't really, I would say, wasn't really doable. Like, as you know, nobody is really named bug bounty, and in terms of KYC, this is not really like compliant. But it's a funny thing that we used to do back in the days. So about Meta Bug Bounty Program, this is how we see ourselves, mostly internally. So we are the last line of defense, I would say, of Meta security, meaning the Meta Bug Bounty Program is the last opportunity for a vulnerability to be detected before it is exploited in the wild. Internally, we try to detect things as early as possible. So we would try to detect issues during the design phase of product. And then if that doesn't work, we have like static analysis tools and security reviews and a lot of processes to try to catch issues before they reach production. But if they do reach production, the bug bounty program is considered the last line of defense. Some key facts and numbers. The Meta Bug Bounty Program is 15 years old. We awarded more than 25 million in bounties. All of Meta scope is in scope, so anything from Quest to WhatsApp to Facebook to vulnerabilities within servers or even open source like open source framework like PyTorch and others that Facebook owns. We have 1,400 researchers across 88 countries. And a lot of what comes from the bug bounty program is then later used to set the direction of the security org in Meta. A lot of the efforts that are launched in terms of security, in terms of privacy, and all these kind of things came originally from issues we were getting from the bug bounty program. And now, for some numbers for 2025, we got so far 13,000 reports. 800 of those reports were rewarded, and we already awarded 4 million in rewards. Now, more on the rewards themselves. So this is some of our rewards. As you can see, it can go from 300,000 for the maximum reward, and the lowest is $500. We reward for a very wide range of issues. As you can see, the biggest rewards are RCE and mobile RCE. For example, some things in WhatsApp, but also private processing, which is something I will talk about a bit later. But basically, how we are doing some processing on server side for WhatsApp. We have a very dedicated payout guidelines about this. And yeah, 2FA bypass, contact point de-anonymization. This one is a big one. I think it's the category we get the most. This is the ability to know for a given user on Meta products what is the underlying contact point of that user, so either a phone number or email. Now, more about the rewards. I think this is one of the thing we do best in our program, and I think it's one of the main added value of our program in comparison to other programs. The way we define rewards is that we don't base our rewards on arbitrary frameworks like CVSS or this kind of frameworks, because we think that you only understand a given vulnerability in its context, in the way it is used in the product, for a very specific impact. And so when we look at vulnerabilities, we look at the full impact of a vulnerability. So we look at how it affects our users and how concretely it is a risk for our users. For example, a good example for this is take XSS. If we get an XSS reported to us, the first thing we are going to look is, okay, what's the domain where this XSS can run? And what cookies can eventually this XSS allow to steal, and these kind of things. And based on that, we are going to make the reward decision. But we are not saying, okay, every XSS is this amount of money. We are always looking at things in their context and always looking for the maximum impact. So it happens very often that a researcher will report something, and then we investigate. We figure out that the impact goes way beyond what they explained in their report, and we reward for what we figured out after the investigation. We don't reward for just what is written in the report. This also is important because we don't want researchers to spend a lot of time optimizing their proof of concept and trying to find the maximum impact and to escalate all the privileges they have. And we don't want them to waste all this time doing that. We are going to do that for them. We want them to report the issue as soon as possible. Now, about the rewards, we also offer a lot of bonus to give more money to people, basically. We have delay bonus. So delay bonus is based on the amount of days you had to wait from the submission of your report until you get paid. So you know that even if you're not getting paid now, you're going to get a bonus because you're waiting a long time. This is our loyalty program. So the way it works, as a researcher, you submit bugs, you submit vulnerabilities, we validate them, you gain points, and the more points you have, the more you climb the ladder of the Hacker Plus loyalty program. And the higher you are in the ladder, the more you have perks and things like that. So some of the perks, the main perks is bonus. You get, if you are diamond, I think you get 20% bonus on top of every reward you're getting. And you get swag, you get invitation for events, you get a lot of other stuff besides that. And then we have also other types of bonus that I will maybe discuss a bit later. But basically, sometimes we do bonus for specific scope. So if we have an event focus on hardware scope, on a Quest, for example, we would award 10% bonus for this type of issues. We have some bonus on how you made your proof of concept. FBDL is a tool that can make reproduction easier, and we incentivize using it because it makes reproduction faster and investigation faster. So we do award a bonus also based on that. And if you give your reward to charity, Meta will double the reward, and the charity of your choice will be given twice the amount that you wanted to give originally. Now a bit more on the community. I think this is also a big added value of our program. We care a lot about how our researcher community perceives itself and is perceived by others. We think this is very important to give researchers the recognition that they deserve, and to do that, we invite them to lots of events. They have direct communication with us. We have a Slack instance. They can discuss with us at any time, ask questions, share their concern and things like that. They get recognition publicly on our website. We give them swag, and they even have a lot of career opportunities. I don't remember the exact number, but I think in my team alone, we are maybe half of the team was bug bounty hunter before, and in Meta security engineers, there's probably, I don't know, like 30 people that were bug bounty hunter for Meta and then became security engineers later, and got hired. Yeah, we also want our relationship to be lasting relationship with researcher, and I think this is also very different than a lot of other bug bounty programs. A lot of other bug bounty programs have one-off researchers who happen to find a vulnerability. Meta has a researcher that stays on average 3 years active on the program, which is really a lot. And a lot of our researchers also do this full-time, so it's their full-time job. We have a very wide pool of researchers. This is the map of our top researchers. So as you can see, there is like a lot of countries represented. The map is a bit old, so Japan is not there, but now it's there. Because since we did an event here, we got some good bug bounty researcher from Japan now. But yeah, and this is also, I think, something very important for a bug bounty program. The wider and the more diverse your pool of researcher is, the more likely you're to get very wide range of different type of issues, different approach. You cannot really get that in a working environment because Meta obviously hires more from specific countries than others. The main offices of Meta are in the US, even if they hire people from abroad. I think like 50% are US employees or something like that. So having all these bug bounty researchers with completely different approach, completely different skill sets, really helps rehabs like finding gaps and so on. Now a bit more on lowering the bar. So what I mean when I say lowering the bar is make the research as easy as possible for the researchers so they can start finding vulnerabilities as fast as possible. This is quite important. If you have some experience in vulnerability research and research in general, you often spend most of your time reverse engineering something specific in order to understand how it works and in order to start to be able to play around with it. And then the actual time where you find the vulnerability is way smaller than this preparative time, this time where you had to reverse engineering the thing before starting your research. This is the time we're trying to lower as much as possible. We don't want people to spend a very long time figuring out how some certain things work. Yeah, this is a good example. So, for example, on mobile Android apps, you probably know most apps have SSL pinning, so you can't intercept the traffic easily on these apps. Meta apps also have SSL pinning, so you can't easily intercept the traffic. And if you want to intercept the traffic, you need to use Frida eventually, or to decompile the app and recompile it in some ways that disable the SSL pinning and all these kind of things. This takes time. We have built settings that you can access as a researcher to just disable it like this. So you go in your researcher profile setting page, and then from there, you can disable these settings and then start intercepting clear traffic and do your research from there. This is another example, a bit similar. So in Meta, we have an app called FB Lite, and this app is basically the small version of the Facebook app. It is super popular in countries where data is expensive, or there is not a lot of connectivity, these kind of things. So for example, it's very popular in India, and the app is made to consume the least amount of data. So it's using custom protocol that will minimize the data used by the app. And this custom protocol is a mess and super hard to reverse engineer and so on. So we made pretty much the same kind of tool. You enable something on your profile, and then you will see in the console log of the page all the packets that are sent by the custom protocol. This allows you to replay requests, look at responses as if this complex obfuscated protocol wasn't there. And this is one of the last tools. I think it's the first time someone mentioned it in a public conference. So this is Burp. You probably know Burp. It's a basic tool for HTTP request manipulation and this kind of research. And one issue we had is with WhatsApp, we didn't have such tool. And if you wanted to do research on WhatsApp, you would need to either reverse engineer WhatsApp yourself and figure out how you can manipulate the packets and send different packets of the protocol. Or you could eventually go on GitHub and find there are some third-party libraries that allows you to do that, but they went through the reverse engineering themselves. But it's not the best solution, right? So we made our tool for that. It's called WhatsApp Research Proxy, and it's basically the same as Burp, but for WhatsApp. It allows you to see the packets. You link your WhatsApp app with it, and then you will see the packets that are sent via WhatsApp, and you can modify them and send arbitrary packets and so on. This is FBDL, a tool I talked about earlier. The goal of this tool is to make vulnerability reproduction and research as fast as possible, especially the setup phase. So often, when you work on a vulnerability based on Facebook products, for example, Facebook Business Suite or ads, you will need some setup in the beginning. So you will say like a given attacker user XYZ and given victim user blah 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 in a business with ads and with these assets, then you can do this, that. This tool is meant to make this simple. For example, I don't know if you see well on the screen, but on this example, basically it creates 4 users. One of the users is owner of a third-party app, and then it adds all these users with different roles in the app. So it allows you, in this case, it allows you to test the permissions, if the permissions are right for the various roles, and if you can do something you're not supposed to do with a specific permission. And that's how FBDL results look like. You see, it's like a list of user credentials. And if you log into those users, you will see that they got created as per the description in the scripting language. So here you see user 1, and then you have user 1, user ID, and so on. Yeah, the nice part with FBDL is that it makes reproducing report way easier for us, because we have a way to reproduce again the issue and all the setup part shared with the researchers. So there is way less hassle trying to create the user, put them in the right state, and all these kind of things. And now I'm gonna talk about how we expand the research, how we try to incentivize research in certain areas that are not as research as others. So we have various ways to do that. One of the ways is private bounties. Private bounties programs are limited in time program where we give access to certain researcher a specific feature or a specific product before it's launched, so they can test it before it actually goes into production. This allows to do early testing. This allows to figure out if there is like major issue in certain products. This is very important because some products, some features actually got delayed launched because we made a private bounty program and we uncovered very big security issues, very big security flaws during that phase. We have also programs to incentivize research in our hardware systems. So this is something we are putting a big focus on because we would like to get more research on our hardware. So we would send specific hardware to researchers. Sometimes the hardware can be even jailbroken, so they can do their research more easily. We have this kind of arrangement. If you are a hardware researcher, please reach out to us, and we are always looking for people to collaborate with, and yeah, it's something important for us to give the hardwares in the right hands of people so they can get research done. We also added Quest and all our hardware as part of the Pwn2Own scope recently. We got some finding, it was interesting. To incentivize research, we also do tailored payout guidelines. So payout guidelines about very specific topics to make sure they get the attention they deserve. So we have the latest guidelines we have on this area are, like, as I said, WhatsApp private processing, Meta Gen AI, and the last guidelines about hardware device. And beyond the specific guidelines and the private bounties, we also understood over time that for certain types of issues, we are not really talking of a traditional security vulnerability in the bug bounty sense, but we are looking at issues where some products or some features can be abused in some ways and that harm the users down the line. For example, here we made data abuse program. You may have heard of issues with Meta, third-party API being abused, and then allowing certain companies to do astroturfing and to try to understand how to do very targeted advertisement and all this kind of thing based on data that they collected via third-party app APIs. And so for that, we created the data abuse program. Data abuse program rewards for any kind of misuse of third-party developers of our APIs. So for example, if you discover that a third-party developer is using our API to collect a lot of user data and then store it into a database that is not secure, or to do spam campaign or phishing campaign, all these kind of things, we would reward for this kind of issues under the data abuse program. Recently, we also are launching a pilot which is called the Abuse Track, and this one is also trying to address the issue of our products being abused in certain ways without a traditional vulnerability. So this program is more targeted towards academic researchers, trust and safety specialists, e-crime investigator, ethical hackers, who are like specialists in these kind of areas. And basically what we are looking for is ways to scrape our data at scale, or to abuse certain products in order to do some malicious activity, phishing campaign, all these kind of things. If you are a specialist of this area, also please reach out to me, because this is a pilot program that is private, where people will be invited to participate in, and we are very interested in people applying for it. And now, to finish this, just one example of issues we got that had big impact. We had this issue reported during our Bug Bounty conference here in Tokyo earlier this year. And as you know, Meta owns MetaQuest, a device for virtual reality. And on MetaQuest, a lot of games and apps are using Unity. And the researcher figured out that the Unity apps in Quest could add some command line arguments with this -e Unity, and this basically you put your command line arguments there. And looking into it, they found that there was this argument that was undocumented and could allow a library to be loaded by the app. And basically, this is a drawing of the attack scenario. So the first one is like the local attack scenario, where you have a malicious app on the device would send an intent, and that intent would use that command line argument to load some arbitrary library and some malicious library, let's assume. And the second scenario is the remote attack scenario. And you will basically do the same, but from a browser intent. So someone on a page, and then the browser send an intent for the app and using that. The second scenario, after investigating, we found that because of SE Linux strict policies on Quest, it wouldn't have been exploitable really. Anyway, when we discovered this issue, we investigated, and we found out it was likely an issue with Unity as a whole. Anyway, because it was an issue found for all MetaQuest as well, we had to make an OS level patch for MetaQuest that we distributed, and that gave time for Unity to create a patch to patch all Unity distribution. And the researcher who found this issue is here in this room. I will let him raise his hand. Yeah, he's over there. Very talented researcher, Ryota. I advise you to go on this blog post where the issue is very well explained. And I like this bug because it shows how you can report bugs that are not only affecting Meta, but affecting the industry. And the impact you can have when you do research on Meta Bug Bounty program is really super wide. Imagine the amount of users that can be affected by these kind of issues. And yeah, that was a really interesting bug. So my conclusion is doing research on Meta Bug Bounty program is super easy. I think the range of the scope is really wide. You have simple UI bugs, you have hardware, you have crypto if you're interested into that, you have privacy issues, you have so many different type of issues. And I really advise you and encourage you to look at our scope because our scope can cover all interests of the security landscape. It is very easy. We do our best to make research as easy as possible. We do support you guys. And yeah, and it's a really great opportunity career-wise and to get some amount of money at the same time. Thank you for listening. I will be giving bonuses for the Meta Bug Bounty program to anyone who emails me from here. So take my email me, and I will send you a link that will give you a 15% bonus on any reward on the Meta Bug Bounty program you may get in the next 6 months. So yeah, do not hesitate to email me. Do not hesitate to email me also if you're interested in the abuse pilot track that I talked about or in the hardware research. Happy to discuss about these things. Thank you, everyone.